Alright guys, today we're going to bring you a versus video. Today it's going to be the Walther Creed in 9mm versus the Beretta APX in 9mm. This video is brought to you by Sig Sauer Elite Performance Ammunition. We appreciate them for sending the ammo out to do this video. We'll be shooting them next. Alright guys, this Sig Sauer Elite Performance Ammunition is 115 grain, full metal jackets, traveling at 1185 feet per second. Not a lot of rounds to this Beretta. It's still relatively new to us. So let's see how it does today. So we're roughly 12 to 15 yards away. Nice little group by the Beretta. And I like the trigger a little bit better than I remember it. Maybe it's starting to break in a little bit. Shooting good.
Yeah.
Pretty impressed with it today. All right, the Walther Creed 9mm. We were very impressed with this the first 2 times out. Let's see how it shoots today.
Thoughts?
A little bit less recoil here.
Seriously?
My group is wider.
Wow.
I like the trigger a little bit better.
Yeah. First ever malfunction.
It looks like it just failed to pick it up off the magazine. Okay. There's nothing in the chamber there. It's actually off the mag.
Huh.
Again.
That is really weird.
Okay, the round's turned sideways in there. It's going to drop out the bottom.
That is really weird. Might be a magazine problem.
I don't know.
You have a second mag, right?
That was it.
That was the second?
Yeah.
Okay.
My memory serves me correctly. There was no issues with this one.
Yeah, there wasn't.
I'll have to look back at the video. But it has a very flat, young Brett and I were just noticing, it has a very flat feed ramp to get into the beginning of the barrel. And that seemed to be where the rounds were catching. And then instead of going up into the barrel, they were turning sideways. Now it is a little bit cold out here, but that's no excuse. I I don't know what's causing it.
Yeah, it's really weird.
We'll have you shoot it and see if anything like that continues.
Yeah. All right. All right, guys, the Walther Creed. Beretta Singer just had a couple concerning malfunctions with it. Let's try it. Fine. Second mag. We don't know which mag he just had the problems with because we didn't mark it just now, but... Ran fine for me. Both pistols have really good ergonomics. Comparing the sights, I could tell these aren't as well done. These have like a really bad paint job as far as the paint in the sights compared to the Creed. They don't look to be as well made also. Just saying. This is the first time I've ever shot the Beretta APX. Right about the recoil. First mag down. Ambi controls here on the APX. So you have an ambi slide release. Right there. It does have a lower bore axis, this pistol, compared to the Creed. Ran pretty good.
I'm going to shoot the Walther Creed one more time since I had those malfunctions. I got a couple more mags set up for it. These malfunctions were just weird. Just strange. I can't explain it, dude. Shot through those mags, no problems. Okay, let's go back to the tabletop. All right, guys, we wanted to give you some thoughts here at the tabletop out here in the field. All right, let's talk about the overall quality of the pistols. I thought they're both very well made from two very good manufacturers. One by Walther, obviously. We've been big fans of the PPQ in 9mm 40 and even 45. This Beretta APX is relatively new to the market. Beretta goes back a long time making handguns. We have lots of them. And I wasn't quite in love with the APX when it first came out and I first bought one. But I have grown to like this pistol quite a bit. And today it shined for me. But overall quality on both handguns I think is very good. I don't have any issues with the builds or anything like that. What do you think of both of them?
Well, I think as far as overall quality, you first have to talk about how much the guns cost. The Walther Creed can be found on the market for $300 to $350, and that's a great price for this kind of pistol made by Walther. You know, we've shot a lot of rounds through it, and this is the first time today we've ever had any problems with it. So I think that's something to say. You know, it has a couple hundred rounds through it for sure by now.
And the Beretta APX run more
Toward 500.
Okay, so definitely north of 450.
Yeah.
You guys may find them a little bit cheaper than that online, but I think I paid almost $460 for this, and the Walther Creeds are more along the lines of
300-ish.
So there's at least $100 difference between them as far as cost is concerned. Now, the barrel on the APX is all steel and better made, where the Walther Creed has some more MEM parts in it.
Yeah. So the barrel on the APX is forged, correct? There's no MIM in it.
Right.
Whereas on the Walther Creed, it is a two-piece barrel design. You can see right there the line down the middle of it because it is MIM. So there is a price difference there as far as the quality that goes into the barrel.
I agree. So are you getting that $100 or $130 worth of value when you step to the Beretta? You are getting something for it, guys. So if you bought this APX, it's a better built gun to look at it objectively.
Both pistols come with 2 magazines. The Walther Creed comes with 2 16-round magazines made by Mekgar, and again made by Mekgar over here. The Beretta APX comes with 2 17-round magazines.
I found the magazines for the Creed very easy to load. All the way up to its capacity of 16 rounds was quite easy to load. These for the Beretta APX are much more challenging after like the 5th or 6th round. You do have to press down quite hard to keep loading the magazines. So the spring in here is much stronger, is my opinion, than the spring in the Walther Creed mags. So if you really don't like loading magazines or magazines that you might have to struggle a little bit with, that's worth noting. It won't make a difference to 80% of the buyers out there, but 20% of the buyers will be like, these are a pain to load. It's not that bad, but it is harder. I just wanted to say something about it. Let's talk about the texturing of the grip of the pistols and how it feels in your hand, the overall ergonomics when you're handling it. Lots of people have talked about the Creed having more body up here where the frame is, and this part of the frame right here being just above your hand.
So it has a higher bore axis.
So the gun rides quite a bit higher over your hand than the Beretta APX. You can see, here's the slide here, here's how high the frame cut is. You only have this much material right here. So your hand rides, it feels almost like a Glock to me.
So which one had less perceived recoil?
I think the Walther had a tiny bit less, but the pistols feel differently when you're shooting them. The Walther Creed handled the recoil a little bit less, made it a little bit less, but I did not find it as comfortable to hold in the hand while shooting. The sights are better on the Walther Creed here from how bright they are or how large the white inlets are of the sight itself. The white paint really stands out.
And I think they're protected, that's why on the Creed. You can see like there's a protective coating over the white paint. Whereas the Beretta APX, they're just painted in there and dirt and grime can get in there and ruin the sights. So you would have to repaint them or something. You can see that, right, Beretta here?
Yeah. You know, the big thing that jumps out at me is how this is so Glock-like in your hand. And so you feel like you have more control over this pistol. Even though it may be a tad bit snappier, it felt great shooting it, guys.
The texture is also a lot better on the Beretta APX. I mean, look at that. It's really well done, the stippling on this. Really aggressive in the front and the back.
It really feels great.
It's very Glock RTF2-like, the texturing.
And the circumference of the grip itself is very comfortable. The Creed has that Walther texturing on the grip,
which I love.
Which is very nice. One thing to cover is the finger grooves here built into the grips themselves. You'll notice that the APX here on my left and on your left is more pronounced compared to the Walthers.
They're very minimalist on the Walther. They're almost not even there.
Some people that makes a difference too. 80% of the shooters I don't think will mind either one. They're both pretty comfortable. And let's talk about trigger real quick. On the Walther Creed here, there's plenty of room for a gloved finger. No problems at all. The trigger, if we can get that into the camera, has this take up right here. It firms, a little bit of creep there, and it breaks. Reset. So the trigger's all the way back here on the Walther Creed. As you let it up, you have to come out to there. You can hear it if you're listening for it. There is a slight feeling to the reset if you're really paying attention. Take up again, a little bit of creep, and it breaks. It is lighter.
Quite a bit.
Yeah, pound-wise, I think it's got to be right around 4.5, 4 3/4. It may be 5. It's a good trigger. The Beretta APX trigger, I did not really care for out of box. So let that be a little bit of a warning to you. After about 400 rounds through it, the trigger has broken in very nicely, and I actually really like it. So, it's got the little shoe right here in the middle, just like a Glock. It's got that much take up, and it kind of firms up immediately. Firms up immediately, little tiny creep, and it breaks. Again, shoe, take up, little bit of creep right there, and it just breaks. I really like the way this trigger is broken in.
So what about the reset?
Right there.
Okay.
It's quick, it's immediate. Now, I'm pulling it again. Tiny bit of creep, and it breaks. Again. Reset. You're almost at the wall immediately. Tiny bit of creep, and it breaks. It's really broken in nicely. I like it quite a bit now.
So which one has a better trigger, do you think?
Even though I bragged about this trigger quite a bit, this trigger, the way it is right now with the Beretta APX, with it being broken in and just feeling more like a really good Glock trigger to me, I like it. It's a little bit heavier. This is more like around 6.5 pounds, I'm gonna say. This is a little bit lighter. You have to come out a little bit further for the reset on this. So ever so slightly, I just prefer this a little bit better, but I can see people liking either one of them for whatever reason. If you like the lighter trigger, the Creed would take it.
So final thoughts, which one do you recommend more for the money?
When I came out here, I thought for sure I was going to pick the Creed because of how well it's done. The last couple videos we've done on the pistol, it's still a very good pistol. But when I shoot them side by side and I look at where my hand rides and how it feels in my hand and how much higher this bore axis is, and the other thing that I noticed today was watching this hammer go back and forth, I was actually preoccupied with kind of watching that action happen on the Walther, where on this, it feels like a Glock 17 to me. You've got no other business going on here other than paying attention to the sights, and for me, it was just a more enjoyable pistol to shoot. So, surprise, surprise, I'm gonna say the Beretta APX for me. What about you?
Personally, I'm going to differ with you on this one. I still prefer the Walther Creed because of the ergonomics, how it feels in my hand, and the trigger. I think the trigger is better on the Creed because of the ergonomics on it and how it feels when you press it. And that's just my personal feelings. And I also prefer the side picture. I think for the money, you can't beat the Creed.
Definitely one of the best pistols for the price. I agree with that.
Yeah.
All right, guys, that pretty much sums up this video for us. Thanks for watching the video. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to our channel here on YouTube, Beretta 9mm USA, for more guns and gear videos coming up in the future.